The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
How are you, William? Nice seeing you.
Yeah, nice seeing you again.
You've been researching Bigfoot or Sasquatch for the past 25 years, and any luck on finding him yet?
You ain't gonna find him on the ground, that's for sure.
You're not. Where are you going to find him?
You're not gonna be able to study him physically. There's no way. They're not as populated as most animals. They're very smart. They're very well camouflaged most of the time. And it's just almost impossible to do it on the ground.
So how do you do it?
I don't do it yet. I'm working on a project called We Can Hear Them, and using many mics, about 40 microphones, wireless, to listen, not stop looking, because I've wasted a lot of times. I spent like 5 years out in the wilderness. You know, I've had an encounter very up close. I've tracked them. I've seen tree twists. I've driven up on one and smelt them, and you know, you just don't have a very long. If you do encounter one, it doesn't last long usually. I was fortunate enough to see one up close, and structurally, it was the most amazing animal I ever seen. Actually,
What did the Sasquatch that you had the encounter with look like?
Structurally, it was primate. Yeah, arms are long. The hair head to toe, and you know, they say they walk like us, but they really don't. If they walk toward you, usually when you see them walking sideways, it looks like they're walking like a human. But if they walk toward you, you'll notice their balance is 10 times better than ours. Their feet are more in like a tightrope kind of position, like you do in a DUI test.
Right.
And the balance is unbelievable with these things, because when I left my camp, they walked up a hillside, and it was just amazing how fluid it was. It was just unreal. I mean, it was just unreal.
How tall would you say the Sasquatch was, and what do you estimate is his or her weight at?
6'4", 6'7", 450, 500 pounds.
My goodness. Do they have a distinct odor?
When I had my encounter, no. But when I did 5 years of gold mining out in the wilderness in the Sierras of California. So after I had my encounter, I spent years. I never told anybody what happened to me. So I spent years myself doing research as I was mining out there to prove to myself what happened was real. And they do exist. There wasn't no fluke in nature. And yes, there's a lot of evidence out there that points to, yes, this is real. However, at the end of the day, we don't have proof. You know,
why do you think they've become such experts on, evading mankind?
There's, you can ask questions all day, and you can ask people questions, but truthfully, nobody can tell you the truth because we don't know everything about them. But just my opinion,
right?
It's very possible. Thousands of years ago, they were hunted by humans. It's traits. Everything becomes a trait with all animals. Like perfect example. Where does a fox live? It lives in a hole, usually in the ground. That's a trait of them. These things were another trait that these things have. Are the Indians respected them spiritually, and the Native Americans did, and they'd leave gifts. And gifting wasn't created by us. it was created by the Native Americans because they left gifts out because they spiritually respected them. And they leave stuff. And this is well known over the years. And it's kind of interesting. You know, something comes out, takes stuff, and leaves something. I'm a visual person.
Right.
And for me to believe something, I have to see it. And it's where I stand at. There's another example, tracks, why we don't find a lot of tracks. I'll give you an example. The immigrants that come over the border, they will wear shag rugs over their shoes, so they can't be tracked by the immigration.
Right.
Now, these creatures, in my opinion, from what I've seen, has very heavy padding on their feet, and when their feet lands on the ground, it spreads out. And that's why it doesn't leave very much evidence of tracks, unless it's muddy, dusty, soft dirt. Other than that, you're not going to see a track. I tracked one that was less than 7 hours old one morning, and I tracked it upside the hill, and I learned a lot by tracking it. Was the stride was very interesting because it was about 3.5 feet. And once I figured the stride out, I could see where every step was, but without a track, you could see where a stick was moved in the dirt, a pebble was moved over, and you could see the stride where the foot landed. And then it crossed a mining road, old mining road from the 1800s, and there was a print right there in the middle of the road. It's big enough for a truck to fit through, about a foot on each side left over, and it took a step from the side of the mining road to the middle to the other side. And it was just unreal. It was like having a sighting, I guess you could say. And it rained till 2:30 in the morning, and I knew it was less than 7 hours old because there was no raindrops on the track itself. None, zero.
What do we actually know about Bigfoot? Do we know any of its habits? Do we know what it eats? Or is it just total speculation at this time?
No, you got it right. You did speculation. You hit it right on the nose. There's nobody out there that I know of that can honestly tell you what they are, what type of creature it is. I can just give you my opinion, what I've seen, my thoughts, and that's it. And I'm more on the primate side because of the structure. And my encounter was very interesting because it came down a canyon. I'm mining in an ancient riverbed up in the Sierras. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and it's all quartz rocks. And it was dark at night, but the quartz in the background on the hillside, anything in front of me I could see. And when it got up close, I could see it structurally. I got to see the front, side, and back structurally, and you're talking about a heavy-duty animal. I mean, meant for the wilderness, let me put it that way.
The Gimlin-Patterson film, I'm sure you've seen it. How did that Sasquatch or Bigfoot compare to the one that you saw?
It didn't look exactly the same, but pretty close. I can say that. So, that's another reason I think they're in the primate family, is because if you look at gorillas and chimpanzees and everything like that, you got to understand, a primate don't have tails, monkeys do.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't understand that. And there are a few primates that do have a tail, but the gorilla and the chimpanzee and the baboon don't have tails. Those are primates in the primate family. So, this is another reason why I'm on the primate side.
So tell us about this new wireless technology that you're using in order to try and discover who, what, when, where, why Bigfoot is.
All right. Basically, I went out in the woods a couple of years ago, got to hear some recordings of tree knocks, which was really cool.
Right.
And, I had a few questions. They leave mics out in the middle of nowhere, then pick them up and then listen to them. And if there's a tree knock or any noise on there, you hear it. And there's 5 tree knocks that was collected, and I got to listen to them. And they were basically, what got me was consistency in sound was remarkable, because that's kind of unusual. You know, a branch breaking, falling on the ground makes a
Sure.
different noise. You know, but these are all consistent and within a 3-mile radius of the same area. So yeah, about 3 miles. So my question was how far away was it? I couldn't get an answer. And which direction was it? I couldn't get an answer. So after I got back, I started thinking, you know, if you can answer these questions, you might be able to solve a mystery here. And triangulation of sound is where I started at, and it took me 6 months to figure it out. So I went through so much headaches and calling. You ever heard of a shot spotter in the city? Where the gun goes off, the police knows exactly where the gun went off at?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I created. I created many of them.
Wow.
And this, yeah, it's, well, if you want to buy it, it's like 30,000 plus if you want to buy it. So I built mine for like $750 a piece, and it worked out. Believe me, it's a lot of work to put it together, and it works. But when you have about 40 of these mics out there, and they're all wireless, and they're going to laptops, sound travels about 1.3 feet per millisecond. So once you start calculating where the sound hits, and you have more mics, a lot more mics, you can know just about exactly where that sound came from. So then you add in the thermal drones, you have them parked. You don't see, we're listening. We're not looking. We're listening. And you have drones parked a little bit higher up on a hillside, vantage point on the area that you are working in. And then as soon as you hear something, you're doing calculations. You already know the area where the sound came from automatically. And then you do the calculations as they're heading that area, and I can probably put them in the spot like the size of my front yard. So you send out 3 drones. It's a lot. They can cover a lot more, and also at different angles. You really can't hide from them in a way. And if we do get on something, what we do, we have a relay system. We got 10 batteries for each one, and we get on something, we have a relay. So
all right, I've got to take a break. Please stand by, Bill. Great having you with us. And Exo Nation, our guest this hour is William Barnes. He doesn't have a website, but he does have a Facebook page that is We Can Hear Them. So we'll be back on the other side of this very short break with our guest this hour, William Barnes, talking about using technology to look for Bigfoot. I'll be back. Don't go away. And welcome back, everyone. William Barnes is our special guest. His Facebook page is We Can Hear Them. Bill, you've got 41 microphones that you've strategically placed in areas that you believe that are frequented by Sasquatch. And you also have drones that are standing by, so when you get a hit on one of your microphones, you dispatch your drone and hope to find Bigfoot. How successful has the system been working?
Well, the microphone system works really well. The drones we're working on to get right now, we only need 4. I've been working on this for 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say searching, we hunt for. We're very mobile with this system. It can be put up and took down and put up in just 10 hours, easy.
Wow.
Move to another area, and we hunt for active areas. And once you get in an active area, you stay in as long as possible until it's not active anymore. In the Sierras, there's so much land up there; it's unreal. I mean, I got a place up there I've known for 25 years, 24 years. Pretty active. It's like a crossing area from fall and spring. The upper part and the lower part of the canyon, they come in and then they leave when the winter comes up. But it's a pretty remote area. Most of my mining was very remote when I was doing my research for convincing what happened to me that these things are real. I do have a website, by the way, coming up in about 48 hours. It just finished today. We Can Hear Them. It'll be on the search engine in about 2 days.
Oh, good. Well,
I've been working on it for a while. idea is, like I said, is just to listen and stop looking. Because
Mm-hmm.
when you watch all these shows on TV, these Bigfoot shows, 80 to 85% of it's all sound. And
That's
you
right,
know,
yeah.
what happens is you don't get to see that. They assume what it is, and at the end of the show, they lead you to kind of believe we're almost there to come and watch the next show. This happens all the time.
Sure.
So my thought is I want to see what makes these sounds. I don't care what it is. You know, I'm on the fence about tree knocks. And this is a two-way street for me and everybody else, even for the non-believers and believers. If tree knocks are made by these creatures and I can find out, great. If they're not made by these creatures, made by something else, great. You know, it's a two-way win on that. And, you know, I never seen one hit a tree with a stick, but, you know, like I said, I'm on the fence. It's very possible that they do it. And you know, they're predators too. You also have to remember that. Predators are like I spent 5 years out there and never seen a mountain lion. You know, they're very they can hide very well. They see you, but you don't see them. You know, I think it's in the same category in a way, because I think they're predators. They do eat. I mean, I can't tell you they eat deer, kill deer for food. I can't tell you that, but people have had many sightings where they killed a deer or other animals, and you know, if they are predators, they're very good at it. There's another thing about primates and with gorillas. If you read up about gorillas, they never sleep in the same place every day. Yeah, they never do. They move. They keep moving. And
So
also,
what? I'm sorry. No, go ahead, Bill.
And also another thing about gorillas is that they have a adrenaline gland they can control. It's very musky, just like a Sasquatch or whatever you want to call it. I call them wood apes is what I call them. Primates have the same ability to do that. Gorillas do when they get spooked or show power, and they can turn it off when they want to. There's a big study on that. And, you know, like my encounter up close, about 3 feet away, I never smelled nothing. But when I drove up on one and spooked it, I smelled something. And it was very putrid. It was very, I smelled a lot of things in the wilderness, but nothing like that. And I used to go to that spot every night at the same time for cell phone reception. The smell wasn't there the night before or the night after. It was just for that moment.
Bill, you've been in the outback, for lack of better words, for many years. Have you come across any remains of bears or deer or other animals in your travels?
Nope, only a dead squirrel in the creek.
Huh. So I was going to ask you if you had seen any remains of Bigfoot, because that's one of the questions that all these other Bigfoot investigators can never answer, is why haven't we found the remains of a Bigfoot?
Well, let me put it this way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you go to my Facebook page, it's up. There's an interactive map on there that shows all the sightings in mountains. It's 2 maps that integrate into themselves. It's very interesting. It shows all the sightings in the mountains. If you don't have if they're territorial, it's just opinion, and say they have 1,000 square miles of territory for a male, female, and a juvenile, just calculation-wise.
Yeah.
If you do the woods of just California, the forest, there'll only be about 120 to 130. That's it. Now, if it's 500 square miles if it's 500 square miles territorial, you're going to have about 240, 250, 260. So the idea is to find where one's at and study it as long as possible and see how big the territory is. And then you can do an educated guess on how many there are. You know, if there's not that many out there, what are the odds of you finding a skeleton out there? Not very good.
Do you have any idea or any theory on where the origin of the Sasquatch originates from?
I have to go back to primate, and I think it might have its own family tree.
Mm-hmm.
It's its own type of primate, I guess you could say. They're smart. I mean, they're curious. But you got to understand, a lot of people think they're part human, and they have portals they go through and stuff like that, and they add in flying saucers when they have a sighting. Forget about all that.
I agree.
Yeah, they're an animal, flesh and blood, and the reason why all this comes up is because people can't figure it out, so they got to add something to the story to make it right.
Give it a point of reference, right?
Well, they just want to have an answer for something why we can't study them. They can disappear, they can cloak. I don't believe that. And what I seen was a physical animal. I mean, there was nothing special. I mean, I can't say there was nothing special about it, but when humans look at something that's bipedal like us,
yeah,
what do they do in their own mind? They have to be part human.
And yet that's so wrong.
Yeah, I think it is wrong. But then again, I can't tell you what they are. It's only my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I know they're very smart. That part I do know. They're very smart. I've interviewed over 100 people, and I had a couple of them with encounters close as mine. And one hunter told me a couple of years ago, he said he drove to a spot on his quad, and he seen one go tree to tree, large tree to another tree, and he waited till daylight and he left. And I said, "You didn't go behind the tree?" He goes, "No, I didn't want to see it." That's his third encounter, by the way. He lives way up there in the Sierra. He's been up there for years. And I said, "Did you get to smell it that time?" He goes, "Yeah, I smelled it." Yeah, because he spooked it. That's the reason I go back to gorillas, because they do the same thing. And that's the primate side of it. I mean, I don't know if it's a primate, but structurally, if you go by the arms, the hair,
mm-hmm.
and different people see different faces, but if you look at gorillas and chimpanzees, they don't look all the same. We don't look all the same.
No?
No, it's in the same trait. See, if you use traits, try to be able to study these, you have a better chance.
Bill, what's your opinion on all the different Bigfoot hunters, researchers that go out and try to find Bigfoot? The level of professionalism, I think, in all of these hunters is very low. I think they use it as a weekend getaway more than anything else. Are they an asset into the research of identifying or finding a Bigfoot, or are they a menace to researchers like yourself?
There's a lot of good ones out there.
Yeah.
Even if I don't get along with them, or if they don't get along with me. But there is a lot of good ones out there. A lot of them are weekend warriors. They're just hunting for the truth. And a lot of people do have an encounter, and what happens is they're trying to make that second encounter to see it again. And the odds of that is kind of rough, kind of hard, actually.
There was a guy. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
There was a guy, I can't remember his name. I think it was Biscardi, Tom Biscardi.
Yep, Tom Biscardi.
Who was out there. He had his truck all deckled out, and he was going to be the person to kill a Bigfoot.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever happened to him? I don't hear about him anymore.
I don't know. I can't tell you, but he's still out there.
He is, eh?
Yeah, I really don't keep track of all these guys, because I have to look at one direction, because if you let people start telling you how you're supposed to do it, they've been doing the same thing for 50 years, and
Mm-hmm.
where are they at today?
Same place they were 50 years ago.
Yeah, so technology has a lot to do with this. I mean, that's the last resort we have, actually, other than shooting one. And I'm a no-kill guy.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Here's a hypothetical question that I asked. I can't remember the guest's name. If it is established that Bigfoot is part human, and somebody goes out and shoots and kills Bigfoot, is that homicide?
Well, it's legal in Texas. It's the only state in the United States you can actually shoot one and get away with it.
You're kidding.
No, but any other state, you don't have a license to shoot one. There's no permit, like a fishing permit or a deer permit or a moose permit. But Texas, yeah, you can shoot one. And there's our states that have laws about shooting one. But I'll give you an example why they don't get shot usually is because when people are hunting, they put their scope on it, they see something standing there, and they see something look at them, and it looks like a human. Would you shoot it?
Definitely not.
Okay, that's
I would. Mind you, I wouldn't shoot it if it didn't look like a human.
Well, when something's bipedal like a human and it's looking right at you through the scope, and you're sitting, most hunters are not murderers. This is the reason why they don't get shot. Well, many hunters have encounters with them because that's where they're at, out in the wilderness. They're hunting in canopy. If you go to my Facebook page, you can see the map that's interactive. You'll see all the sightings in the mountains and in the tree canopy areas, and it's pretty accurate. I picked a map that was a sighting map, and then I put a government map underneath it, and you wouldn't believe how accurate it is. It's just where they live.
You and I have to take a break. Bill, please stand by. Great having you with us. And Exonation, Bill Barnes is our guest. He's going to have his website up in 24 to 48 hours. And Bill, is the website going to be the same as your Facebook page?
No, it's a little bit more detailed. And also I got my trailer. We had the trailer built for the pilot. That was done a few months ago.
Okay, super.
Turned out really good.
All right, we'll talk more about this when we come back from this very short break. And Exonation, if you'd like to visit Bill's Facebook page, it's We Can Hear Them. And we'll be back on the other side of this break. So whatever you do, don't go away. Welcome back, everyone. Bill Barnes is our special guest. His Facebook webpage is We Can Hear Them. And Bill, is your website going to be We Can Hear Them as well?
Oh, yeah. WeCanHearThem.com, yeah.
Excellent. Tell us about the trailer you built.
I got a producer-director that's been in the industry about 20 years, and I told him what I wanted. And he actually did a really good job because he kind of seen what I seen. I mean, a lot of directors and producers, they like to change things and make it the way they want to look at it. But he did it the way I wanted people to see it. It was he did a really good job actually, and it explains everything. If you look at it, it explains everything from beginning to ending. Like I said, we're working an area. If I can do about 300 acres plus, give or take away, that's a lot of land. See, and people can't cover that much land. I don't care who you are. When you're out there at nighttime, but I can by listening. See, I can reach down in those canyons with these mics, reach down because they're not directional, but I block out one side. It's pointed all, say, up the hillside or into the forest, not the backside. So I can reach down into these canyons, reach into these forests on the hillsides, and listen. I can without being there, and that's the advantage you have is that you can actually hear it. If they hit a golden sound would probably be a tree knock, or you hear an animal scream or whatever. I mean, but a tree knock would be the best one to test it out on first to see what actually makes these tree knocks. See, I don't go out there and bang trees. I don't go out there and screaming or nothing like that. I never was into that. I mean, that's. It works for some people, I guess. For me, I rather hear it naturally. And if I can hear it naturally and I can get on top of it in 60 seconds or less, I got a good chance to see what made that noise.
So what would you do if you, in fact, were able to locate a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch? First, using the microphone, you get your area, your target area, you send out the drone. What happens next?
Well, actually, I send out 3 drones at one time. And then if I do get on something of interest, I start a relay system. They got 10 batteries apiece. And this way I have about 6 hours flight time, or more actually. And if I can stay on top of it and study what I'm looking at and keep all the footage and let people look at it, see if it ever happens and I do capture something really great, I'm not going to say what it is. I'm going to send it out to people, biologists, and have them tell me what it is.
Do you think the scientific community should get behind the Bigfoot investigation more than they're doing?
In a way, I don't think they will, because the perfect example is a spotted owl. This is just my opinion again. Spotted owl shut down the timber industry. These things live in the timber areas, and if these were known to exist, I think they would shut down a lot of timber industry. And the people who oversees that, believe it or not, is the Department of Interior. They're above everybody.
Really?
Oh yeah, you read what they do. It says timber on it. Department of Interior. They're the head guys over BLM, Fish and Game, Forestry, blah blah blah. There was an incident that happened in Texas, and the gentleman, I guess he's dead now, he had the Department of Interior have him sign a non-disclosure agreement, and it was kind of interesting. I don't know if the story was true, but I met him and he told me about it, and you have to believe what you hear sometimes.
Sure.
But then again, if the government knows these things exist, which I think they do, because I had a forestry guy out of Humboldt County, had 3 encounters, and he was 30 years retired, and he told me if you mentioned them or talked about them, they'd put you in a corner or get rid of you. That's exactly what he told me. He had 3 sightings. He had a good sighting of a female that had a baby on this chest up above the shoulder, carrying across the road in front of him. He was doing a study on sparrows that come in during the summer and spring, and they go back to the coast in the wintertime up in California. And he said he was eating his lunch, he was logging a briar patch on a clear cut, and he stood up and he said, I looked over and I seen a female, and my first question was, female? He goes, let me finish. And I said, okay. And he said he stood up, he was cleaning his trash, he stood up, and female was standing there, and stared at him, then walked over to the forest line, disappeared. And it's not his first encounter, so he wasn't really freaked out about it. And then he said he walked down to his truck and started driving up the dirt road, and here it comes across in front of him with a young one by its neck, hanging onto the fur. And that's from a forestry guy. Now, you can't say the government doesn't know. I mean, if they're real, the government does know. Believe me, there's too many people working out there.
But if they are real and the government does know, shouldn't the government do something to protect it?
Oh yeah, well, if there's not that many of them, why should they? And also, why should they shut down the timber industry? That's a lot.
All right, but I understand that, but there has been Bigfoot sightings or Sasquatch sightings in other parts of the United States and Canada where there is no timber industry.
True. Canada has a law about shooting them too.
I'm sorry?
I believe British Columbia has a law you can't shoot them.
That's right, yeah.
So why would they put a law in place?
Well, because the power of the people,
Yep.
people who believe that Sasquatch is real, and you get a bunch of activists going down, knocking on the government's door.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I also, there was this other person, I can't remember his name, who started a petition.
By the way,
Pardon?
that was Todd Standing.
That's it, Todd, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I read all the time. What you just answered my question. Environmentalist.
Yeah.
Is the worst enemy to our government. Strongest enemy against our government.
With all the people that you've talked to about your work and your research. Is there any one story that sticks out in your mind that just kind of was the added drop of water to the bucket to say, yes, I know I'm on the right track. Yes, I know that we're going to get the proof that Bigfoot does exist.
No.
No, eh?
Yep,
How do you know? How do you know
DNA
where to put your? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bill.
The DNA, all the DNA testing they did, that was so flawed, it was unreal. I was disappointed, to tell you the truth. And you were just going to ask me what areas I would work.
Yeah, and how do you know which area to go to?
Well, after 5 years out there finding evidence of them, I have areas where there's activity of these known activities, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I speak to the community, these small little communities that people live there have encounters. And a lot of people I talk to are actually marijuana growers, but they don't want to tell anybody where the encounters are about them. And the reason why is because they're guerrilla growers. And, they don't want to tell people where they're growing their stuff at. So I got to be friends with a lot of them. They told me stories that just blow you away, because they're out there all the time taking care of their plants and stuff. And also gold miners, many gold miners. There's gold miners that live out there year round. And I've heard stories from them that's just unreal, just unreal. And in my encounter, I don't care if people believe me or not. It doesn't bother me a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is because, like I said in the beginning, I'm a visual person. And if I'd never seen it, I would have never believed it. That's what kept
Bill,
me
my
going.
producer, is telling me that we've run out of time for tonight. I want to thank you very much for joining us. Keep us in mind and let us know how your high-tech research for Bigfoot works out.
Oh, I will. Believe me, I've been working on it for 2 years straight now. This one idea. And it's getting.
Well, you take care of yourself, Bill, and be safe out there. All right, Exo Nation, that's it for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night at 10 o'clock as once again we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And I'd like to thank my senior producer and wife, Laura Rogers, for all her hard work, Craig West in Master Control, and our Director of Programming, Mac Alexander. So until tomorrow night, my friends, always keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Good night now.